Welcome to episode 62 of Live with the Glitter Practitioner. That's me, Dr. Noopy. Thanks for joining me here today. Let me know in comments where you're tuning in from. I love to chat later and just love knowing. I'm nosy. I love to know where everybody is. For those of you who don't know me, I am a GP, a general practitioner in the UK, family physician. And I am also a speaker. I'm also a transformation life coach and soon to be published author and co-author of Rattled Awake. Lonnie was my guest last week. So a little bit about me. I am absolutely passionate about, I guess, what I do with my patients, with my clients, and it's bringing that awareness to somebody's whole self, their whole health self needs, mind, body, and soul. And it's really recognizing what those needs are, how to keep them in balance, and how to keep them topped up. And I share how via my F list, which is a framework I created through my journey from burnout 12, 13 years ago. And it's how I've integrated this whole person, heart-centered care with the conventional medical model and combining the two together, which is it's incredible. It is truly transformational. It's bringing healing back into healthcare, and it never fails to light me up. And I think my brand story that was created by the insanely talented Devin James Stinson, he's managed to capture really, I guess, the essence of what it is to work through the F list, how it makes you feel. It's beautiful. And I think without further ado, I'd love for you to just take a step back and just enjoy the brand story. So, wonderful Mr. Producer, please, can we have the brand story? Thanking you.
Follow the light through the storm. And this is not a light that warns, it's a light that forms on the pathway ahead. So you can maneuver around disaster instead of getting stopped by the obstacles. It just takes changing the obstacles. And then the impossible turns to possible. And then the storm lifts. You're no longer adrift. Breathe, focus, you've got this. Ahead you see a figure, a kind soul, and on the inside it feels like you might glow. Your endless cycles of cyclones have been turned to a breeze that just slightly blows. You're adorned with glitter, where you literally feel like a kid again. And this is when you realize how much of your life you've missed. And then you talk more with Dr. Noopy Aurora, who will holistically change your aura, where you and the new you won't be like strangers. No, you'll be like friends. Because this whole process is simply life-changing. So if you're feeling frazzled and you want to find your fizz and dazzle, then book a call with Dr. Noopy Aurora by messaging her right here on LinkedIn.
Oh, I just love that. I literally go off into a trance. And then halfway through the brand story, I'm like, oh, hi. Hello, everybody. I caught sight of some people. Hi, Hi, Chef Sully. Hi, Michael Mint. Oh my gosh. Hi, Joan. Hi, Karen. Oh, I get really excited when I see everybody pop up. And I think without further ado, because I'm just feeling a bit daft today, let's bring on my guest today. Come on down, Dr. Terrence Johnson.
How you doing, Dr. Newbie?
I don't know why I'm waving to you. Oh, Michael Mint. Oh my gosh, I've not spoken to you for ages. Hi, Terrence. It's so fabulous to have you on today. Thank you so much for coming today. Oh,
Thank
right, I've got to stop now. I'm not going to look at comments. I'll do it later. Thank you for joining me today. It is
look,
gorgeous to have you on.
I enjoy just being in your presence and just like I said, I was watching the brand story too. It's like I'm a big visual person and kind of
Yes,
filmmaking type too. So
yes.
I was getting ideas for some things, and then I was kind of thinking about some other stuff too. So it
Seriously.
really was.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful, isn't it? I know, I know. And I always get really, oh, dreamy. I'll have to introduce you to Devin James, who created that. He's brilliant.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Terrence and I met via my beautiful soul connections, Joan Williams and Karen Pascal. And we actually, the both of us, featured on their debut radio show that was being streamed onto Twitter. When was that? It was about a month ago, maybe. I think something like that. And
Yeah.
I basically said, "Oh well, if I'd happily come on." And then basically, we both invited ourselves to being their monthly regular drop-in guests. Anyway, that's how I met Terrence, and it was just gorgeous and just totally hit it off. So, Terrence, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah. So I guess the best way to kind of introduce myself is saying that I'm a person that I believe in continuous growth and evolution. I feel like I'm a person that it's hard to just say I do one thing or I'm one title because I've done several different things in different capacities. And so I think for me, I look at it as I'm kind of transitioning into a newer version of myself. So I don't know if this 4.0 or 5.0 of me, but I'm kind of moving into this next version of myself. But I guess in previous versions of me, I've been a licensed professional counselor. So I work with a lot of adolescents and kids, at-risk youth, juvenile delinquents. I worked with that population for a while. I've worked in career centers before, where I did a lot of career coaching, resume writing, outreach, career development type stuff. I did that for a while. Then I moved into adjunct teaching. So I was teaching master level counseling students. Then I became faculty, and then I taught on the doctorate level for a while, other therapists, and also I've done a lot of church work, a lot of mentoring. Um, I've done a lot of writing. I've done some not adjunct, some freelance writing where I've had some things published. Um, I have a Medium blog that I've done before, but for me, the kind of path that I've been on lately is something that I call life excavation.
I love that.
And for me, I'm always seeking meaning in everything. I might not enjoy what life is giving me, but if I can get to the lesson, I can accept it better.
Yes.
And I've been through a lot of different situations in my life that have taught me different things. But also because I have various different walks in my life that I've been in or different roles I've been in, it gives me unique angles to certain things.
Yeah.
And so I might not have a traditional way of looking at things. And just like what you saying in your brand store, it's kind of bringing the medical and then kind of like this other angle to it.
Otherworldly.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I counsel. It's like, how can you humanize those concepts and make them more practical? because
Yes.
people don't live clinic, they live in the real world. And how can you then start to reframe certain things? It's almost kind of like, I guess I go into a spiritual part, but it's like when you read in like things that are more proverbs, it's
Mm,
small little sayings, but they have a
mm.
lot of meaning. They have depth
Yeah.
in them. And
Yeah.
so for me, that's kind of how I'm looking at how can I break something down into a simple concept, but it has so much depth, and then people can add their own meaning to it. So that's why I do my
Yeah.
writing. I write from a standpoint, not that
Beautiful.
I'm a character in it, but I want you to see yourself and then reflect on like, hey, well, how did I think about that? Or how do I deal with it? And
Yeah.
so that's the main. I'm a teacher at heart, so everything is a teachable moment for me, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to
No.
find the lesson
Yeah. Yeah.
and share that with other people, but get people more in tune to like their own voice and
Yes.
what's unique
Yes.
and them, instead of trying to like figure out like who do I want to be like or emulate. Like you should want to be more like yourself and learn more
Love
about
it.
you.
Yes. Yes. And this is why we instantly just gelled when we were on with Karen and Joan. And it was just, it is about the lessons. I don't know why I'm laughing about the lessons because the lessons can be shit and really painful. But that's exactly what it's about. And it is recognizing the shadow stuff and the stuff that really stops you in its tracks, but allowing yourself to see you will come through it. You can come through it. And it's the broadening of perspective when you were talking earlier about different roles you've done, and it gives you these different angles on people in themselves. It's widening and broadening that perspective, and also looking at things from a higher perspective. And there's always a deeper meaning. And sometimes the difficulty is, and I'm going to use your tagline, I say it's about delving, and it's what you say. It's about excavating right the way down, getting rid of all the crap and unearthing the golden glittery nuggets that are right there. And
Yeah.
there always are. There always are. And I don't mean to sound like a completely um oh, the world is full of butterflies and unicorns. I mean, it can be if you want it to be. And you can tap into that. It's tapping into self and love for self, because that's when all this beautiful magic really, really does start to just go.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I can't, I mean, I could talk about it for hours and hours, but yes, I know why we completely bonded. I was joking earlier. Terrence and I were chatting in the green room, and
Mm-hmm.
we were just getting totally giddy, playing music and all sorts of stuff. And I can't remember what I was going to say then. No, I was going to say, oh, we got to tell everybody how we met and this and that and all sorts. Oh, it's just lovely. So thank you, Karen and Joan. It's a great radio show, by the way. Just giving a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, it was those jingles. Anyway, I digress. But my very very close friend, she's like she's my sassy sizzle sister, Lonnie Ray. She was on last week, and I'm co-authoring in an anthology with her and quite a few other people who were here tonight. Rattled Awake, and she was so excited listening to you talk, listening to about the fact that you're a writer. I could see her comments popping up. I was like, you two have to meet. I'll introduce you guys later. But we were talking about music earlier, as part of it's understanding, it's tuning into somebody, isn't it? And it's tuning into your heart and your soul. And I really resonated with that when you said music means a lot to me. So tell me a little bit more about that for you.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of so on my dad's side, they're a lot more musical, and my dad used to be in the band. Like
No way.
if you're familiar with like historical Black college and university, Jackson State, my dad used
Yeah.
to play Sonic Boom of the South, which if you know about bands, you know, Sonic Boom of the South is kind of like one of the best bands in the
Oh
US.
wow. Oh,
So
pro.
like if you know about band culture, you kind of know. And so music has always been something around me. And it frames a certain it's kind of like snapshots. It's almost kind of like
Yeah.
if life was a photo album, you remember a certain song went to a certain period of your life and
Yes.
you hear it and it brings you back. And for me,
Yes.
like I love I got jazz from my dad. My dad used to play jazz a lot around me, and like the Isley Brothers, and you know, it's gospel and all these different things.
Yeah.
And but it's kind of like each one has a different personality. So jazz is
Mm.
kind of unconventional and more creative.
Mm.
You know, gospel is kind of grounded, spiritual, kind of makes you feel something. You know, then you have like R&B, you have rap, you have like all these different
What I
things.
was playing earlier.
Yeah, you went there. and so and so everything gives a different feeling. But what it brought me back to when I was in my master's program, I don't know if it was the master's or doc, I can't remember, but we had a class where we did it was a our professor had us do an assignment called like your life's not life's playlist or something like that. But what we had to
Happy
do,
list. Happy playlist. Was it the happy
no, it wasn't that.
playlist?
It was for like lifespan development. So what we had to
Ah,
do
okay.
about
Yep.
our life in each different phase in our life, we had to attach a song and attach the lyrics to it. And so we wrote this
Yes.
paper and then had these different songs. And it was funny to look at like different like college songs and like the songs I had there and like then after college and all these different things. And so you really look at it, your life is kind of like a playlist too.
Yeah.
That different songs, these different
Yeah.
messages, and the lyrics to them really resonate with you.
Yeah.
And so for me, it all depends on what I'm doing, the type of music that I want to listen to. So if
Yeah.
I'm writing, I love movie soundtracks, like
Yes.
scores. So
Yes.
Stella is like one of my favorite movies. I love
Which one? Which one?
Interstellar. Interstellar.
Oh my God,
I
yes.
I love
So you know, I totally forgot we're on camera.
it.
Oh my God. Sorry, everybody, for just getting really screamy. Anyway, I get really excited because Interstellar is like my all-time favorite.
I love
And
it.
you know that track I was playing earlier.
Mm.
Hint, hint, clue, Russ, brother. Um, come on. I'm so bossy, but it is a beefed. It's a beefed up version of the main Interstellar soundtrack. No, not that one. I don't want that one. The one I sent you, please. The one I sent you. Anyway, Terrence, come back. He'll do it.
Yeah.
But you know the main theme, and somebody's
Hmm.
mixed it and made some
Yeah.
juicy beats to it. That's what I
Yeah.
was playing earlier. Anyway, sorry, I just got really excited because I thought I heard Interstellar, and I was like,
I love
I'm,
I
I'm
love
I've composed myself now. Go on,
yeah.
carry on.
No, it's good. But it takes you it drops you down into like a world. You know, that's what that music does. It kind of just
I'll
like
play it.
takes away. And so for me, I like that. But I also, if I'm trying to like relax or kind of like meditate, I
Hmm.
like Tibetan singing bowls and those type
Yes,
frequencies. They kind of calm
yes,
because
healing. It's
yeah,
healing.
if you're a person that thinks a lot, you kind of
Mm,
need things to kind of shut your mind off or bring it down. And those
yes,
things kind of it 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 relaxes you. So it's almost kind of like
yeah.
water does that. It's kind of like that motion of the
Cleansing. Yeah,
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 and that's what it does in a musical way. And so I think that's what we need some type of some way to combat all the different noise that comes at us during our
yeah,
day,
yeah,
and but
yeah,
we can kind of
because you can get completely barraged by it all,
Yeah,
completely.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I get
yeah.
that. I find it very soothing, which is why. Um, so I love drum beats. I'm just obsessed. I just, and you get that juicy, deep motherfucking drum beat going, and it's just sorry, but you know what I mean.
I know
And
what
it
you're talking
is just gets you right there. And it's, oh my God, I feel like that character from Oh, that it's a Disney film or it's a Pixar film, and it's like this little alien and he hears music and all these tentacles start jiggling around. Do you know what I mean? Anyway,
about. You
that's
like?
what
Do you
happens.
like the Japanese drums, like the taiko
Oh,
drum? Have you
bongo
heard?
beats, any drums, to be honest. Bongo beats, juicy drums, like proper the bass, basically, and anything. And the Indian drums, oh my gosh. And the tribal drums. So, on my intro,
Mm-hmm,
I get really excited and giddy because of the drum beats that, like introducing the show, chose it.
mm-hmm.
And then I need the brand story. I need Devin's voice and the way the music goes, and it's just really soothing to just bring me right down and ground, and then I'm ready. And then so yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's I know exactly what you mean about looking back on your life, different tracks, different lyrics. Um, I did an exercise. It's the River of Life, which was part of my coaching diploma. And I sometimes do it with clients. And it was going through your peaks and troughs essentially through life. And I went one step further. And because I like yourself, I'm very audio, very visual. And I associated each of these pivot moments or these significant moments, I should say, good and bad, with a certain song and a certain track. And I've got like Massive Attack there. I've got I can't remember her name. Only Saint Etienne, Only Love Can Break Your Heart. Through college stuff, and then this beautiful bit that was tranquil, and then Burnout, which was shit, and then all of this other stuff. And it's a huge part of my life too. Actually, is music. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
great,
it
great.
is great. So where are you at now? I was gonna a question popped into my head when you were talking earlier that different tracks and different genres of music kind of represent different aspects of you, where you're at in your journey of life, let's say. Where are you at now? If you could choose a song or a genre, where are you now?
Ironically, the song it's a song that I used to love
Yeah.
long time ago, and it popped back up to me, and I love it.
Ooh, yeah.
And a lot of people may not have heard of it because people know the group, but they might not know this song. So it's a
Okay.
song. Uh,
Which song?
Outcast is
Oh yeah.
Liberation, is,
Oh.
and so a lot of people don't know that song. It was on their Aquemini album,
Okay.
but so the reason why I'm connecting with that more, and that's something that's kind of more of a, I won't say a pivot because it's been an undercurrent for me for a while. I haven't
Yeah.
really stepped all the way into it. I'm stepping more into
Yeah.
it about my cultural heritage
Yeah.
and want to know like where I'm from.
Yeah.
And that track is almost kind of like ancestral with the drums and the piano
Oh
and
wow.
how it just moves around. And it's, I mean, like Erica Badu on there, and you got like spoken word, and
No
then
way.
and so it's like a 10-minute track, but it's literally
Wow.
like it's like a world. It's like you listen to it, and it's like because all live music is like drums and piano and all these different like shakers, like the
Beautiful.
kind
Yeah.
of is like
Yeah.
so.
Cinematic.
Yeah, when I listen to it, it kind of just like it takes me into that vein, and that's where I've kind of been now. I had an opportunity. So I'm in Gallatin, Tennessee, so that's about 30 minutes from Nashville. And so the church that I attend, it does like an annual civil rights bus trip to
Mhm.
where we ride around like Montgomery, Tuskegee, Birmingham, go to Selma, and go to like all these different places.
Mm-hmm.
So we were riding around, we get out and stop, go to these museums, but we got to walk the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where like if you watch the movie Selma, you know what happened on that bridge. A lot of people lost their lives, a lot of different things. And so we walked it, and we walked it like
Wow.
2 by 2, and we walked across, and it's like when you have those connections to certain places and you know what happened, and it kind of gives you a different sense. It kind of,
Oh, I can feel it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's like in the message that I've kind of been getting is, you know, I've done a lot of things. I've had a lot of accomplishments or whatever, but it's like those people did things that move things forward. It
Yes.
sacrifices that they made for
Yes.
people that didn't know.
Wayfarers,
Yeah, yeah.
completely.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, well, what am I doing with the opportunities that I've been given? And are they really going to be impactful for when I'm not here? And
Wow.
because I've been kind of getting back into like my family genealogy and trying to like figure out like all this stuff and research and doing all this stuff, it's like I'm looking at information about my ancestors and people came before me.
Mm.
They did things to set my life up, and they didn't know me. You know, they didn't know I existed, but they made sacrifices that allowed me to have certain privileges. And so it's
Yeah.
like, hey, well,
What are you
what,
going to do coming forward?
yeah, like what am I going to do to honor
I
them?
get that. I get that
And
completely.
so that's what's really been heavy on me lately.
Mm.
Like it's going to be a point in my life where I will become an ancestor. I won't be
Mm.
here, and I will, whatever that span of time I've been here,
Mm.
that will then be a message or a link for somebody else that comes after me. So what am I doing with my time now that's
Yeah.
not about just, you know, getting attention or getting a
Yeah.
validation? It's like, what's
For
more
that.
my
Yeah.
purpose?
Yeah.
And how can I maximize that? It might not be what people
Yes.
think I should do, but
Yeah.
it's like I feel this thing that I need to do.
Step outside the grain, step outside convention and the norm, and
Mhm.
truly share that gift, share that spirit, share that light. And yeah,
Yeah.
tell me, when you were talking, what would you like what would you like to be remembered for?
So
Straight off pat. This is, by the way, we've not even talked about this. This is just literally, we're
yeah,
just chatting.
no,
But
so
from here, from your
yeah,
heart,
yeah.
babes, quick gut
So
feeling. What do you
it
want to be remembered for?
this is what I want, and I somebody asked me something like that a couple months ago, and it was my answer. I say the same way, and this
Yeah.
is I want to at the end of my life I want to die empty. What I mean by that is everything I feel like I needed to give out to the world, I want to be able to do that.
Mm.
And whatever that is, I want to get all of it. So I you know how some people they get to the end of their life and they're like, oh, the best, the richest place is the graveyard. I don't want to be that person. Like whatever I have to give, I want to give it out. I don't want to leave with stuff like undone, unsaid, unexpressed. Like I want to give it all out. And that's how I want to. That's what I want. Yeah.
And if I split hairs a little bit, what is it that you want to what imprint do you want to leave behind on future generations, on the world, other people? What's the
So
imprint?
so I'm gonna say I guess this is my next step to it. And I was talking to Joan and Karen about this too, and we were talking about me coming out today. But I was like, I feel like this is I'm gonna talk about it. So um my next step.
No pressure, by the way,
Yeah, no.
Just share.
So
Just do it. Come on, tell
so
me.
what I've kind of been working on it for a while, but my next
Yeah.
step is I'm working on doing a documentary about,
Ooh.
and so that's
About what? About what? Sorry.
our,
It
our family history. So I want to do a documentary about finding out where we came from and actually going back to where we came from.
Nice.
And so the reason why I feel that connection. So when I was teaching, I had a chance to go to Jamaica. One of my coworkers, his wife was from Jamaica, so we took like some students there. We did a lot of like service learning projects. We did presentation. Went to church there. We went to like a boys group home. I did a guest lecture there, and it was a feeling. And I tell people it's like Jamaica really messed me up, not in a bad way, in a good
Yeah.
way. It was the
Yeah.
first time I had been somewhere where I felt like home.
Yeah.
It's not home like, I mean, I grew up in Mississippi, so it's like Jackson, Mississippi is kind of like my hometown is home, but it was a
Yeah.
different type of home. It was
I get
different
you.
feeling.
Yeah.
Um, and I had never felt that. And I kind of been chasing that feeling since then.
Wow.
And so when I sit and go to the archives and I'm researching stuff and I'm pulling stuff up on my ancestry, it gives me that same feeling. It's like I can sit there and look at stuff and research stuff and print stuff off for hours. I just lose time.
Yeah.
And it's because it's almost like it's choosing me. I'm not choosing it. It's choosing me.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like being more obedient and just surrendering to that because it's
Yeah.
not something that's not something that people would just willingly say I want to do. Like, hey, I want to research all this stuff and put this stuff together and spend all this time and make calls and try and figure out this stuff. Like, it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster. It's
Yeah.
been,
I bet it is. I bet it is. And that's
but
gonna give you so much richness and so much depth, even more so. And wow, that's incredible.
yeah, yeah, and it's the most like meaningful thing I've done. And
Wow.
it's and I'm like, and so what I've been doing
Mhm.
so I've been doing like behind the scenes videos and recording them on my phone where I just kind of talk about like what I learned or what I'm thinking about,
Nice.
feeling
Yeah.
about what I'm learning, and it's like I watched them back over the weekend, and I just
Yeah.
realized like how much stuff I've already gotten, and like it's been
Wow.
since like May, so it's been about 3 months that I really been doing it, and well doing that part, recording it.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
been doing the history off and on for a while, but the last about 9 months, I really been into it.
Wow.
And so I feel that um, I don't, so a lot of things are about slavery.
Mm.
And I'm learning a lot more about that piece, but I don't want it to be just about that.
Sure.
I want it to be more about the humanity of
Mhm.
my ancestors. Who were they? What's their
Mm.
story? And then how can I let their voices be heard? And
Oh,
that's kind of what so it's like as I'm researching, and the other part of the reason why I feel more compelled to do it now, like my grandmother, she's 92, and she holds like all of the history. And so
mm.
I've been, recording her talking about stuff. I had my mom record and I was like, we got to capture these stories because
Beautiful.
she had them. She's the last link.
Yeah.
So I really want to do it to where I can really figure out like where we from and we can all go as a family. Like that's what I really want to do. Uh is
That's
to
amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do. That's like
Well, you're
that's
doing it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the end goal. But
I
like,
love it.
yeah, even on just what I've done so far is open up these conversations with my family members, and we learning
Mm.
stuff we didn't know. It's
Yeah.
like I'll find some in the census, and then I call my mom, and she talked to Granny like, "Oh yeah, let me tell you this story." Like, what? What is this? And what?
Oh,
And so it's like
that's
all learning
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Uh,
That's beautiful.
And
And
so,
you know, sorry.
no, you good. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that's actually healing
Yeah.
generational, for want of a better word, trauma
Mhm.
and the generational, I don't mean to sound like mystical Meg here, but it's generational trauma, generational curses, generational patternings and conditioning, which gets handed down and handed down. It's only when you stop and go, what was behind that? Let's hear the stories and let's actually excavate. I was going to use the word delve, but excavate, obviously, and
Yeah,
start excavating. And then you are changing the narrative going forward, therefore. It's
yeah,
so powerful. And it's very akin to, um, and I get that when I'm dealing with patients, particularly because of my safeguarding work with children and my trauma care and domestic abuse work. A lot of this stuff is generational trauma that is handed down. It's obviously society stuff. It's the conditioning. It's your background. It's your upbringing, and it's the way this impacts each person, and then it gets molded, amended, whatever, and then passed on to the next generation. And then whatever they retain is what they then know. And you really can break those cycles and start from almost understanding it, seeing it, and going, no, this is what I'm taking forward. And this is the legacy I'm leaving behind for my next generation. And that is incredible. That's true healing. It's amazing.
yeah. And it's and the
Oh,
other
I got goosebumps then. Tingles.
like the other part of it is the educational part
Yeah.
is teaching people how to do it because it's not
Yes.
easy to find,
Jesus. Sorry.
especially
It's the
um,
hardest thing ever. Yeah.
yeah, it is it's hard, and especially like for Black people, it's harder for us to find our history
Yeah.
and our ancestors because usually after a certain point, usually they call it like the not the cliff, but it's kind of like you run into the wall, and it's like 1870s usually that wall you hit in the ancestry standpoint because up until that point, 1870, if you were enslaved, you didn't show up on censuses with your full name.
Right.
1870 was the first time that you showed up with your full name, unless you were free. If you were a free person, then
Yeah.
you showed up on some back before. But and well, like it's a lot of stuff I learned, but you can find a little bit
Fascinating.
um with the Freedmen's Bureau. So the Freedmen's Bureau does have some records around like the 1840s, 50s, 60s, or whatever before then. So you could kind of find some other stuff, but the main the main kind of push for me to do this is something that I found out. So I found out that one of our ancestors came from Virginia to New Orleans in like 1835, and like I got the manifest with the slave ship name and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like a synchronicity with it because like I was born in Louisiana. So I was born in Baton Rouge and we stayed in New Orleans for a while. And New Orleans was the place I always thought I was gonna move back to. I always
I
felt
love
like
New Orleans.
food
Yeah.
and whatever, I'm gonna go back because New Orleans felt like home. And I didn't
Yeah.
understand why it felt more like home until I found it. I was like, oh, that's why I feel like I'm like I didn't even know that connection
Isn't
until
that
like
incredible?
yeah, like I literally just found
It's
out like
yeah.
months. And so
Yeah.
it's like that's why I feel like okay, it's a story I gotta tell because there's so many different parallels to me and what I'm finding and locating.
Like Interstellar. It's like Interstellar.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's like wow, and it's so much other stuff. I'm not gonna get into all of it because
Oh,
it,
wow. I swear, I know. I was just trying to keep an eye on the time, but I'm literally just, oh, I could listen to you. Just your voice is beautiful. Quick
hey,
question before I have to wrap up.
yeah,
Do you sing by any chance?
I do.
I knew it. I knew it. So I don't know
a
why
lot
I'm
of
shouting.
a lot of it I
I could
do. I
tell.
don't
You
do it as much now, but at church I did it a lot
I
for a while.
bet you do, because I can tell by your voice. I can tell by the tone in your voice. I'm thinking all this time. I've just been thinking. I bet you're a really good singer. I just knew it. I just knew it. Okay, we're
Look,
gonna have to
you
do it.
finding out different secrets and stuff now. Look, you find different secrets.
Oh yeah, totally intuitive. Yeah, but we were talking about crossroads and pivoting. I have
Hmm.
my own song because I love singing too.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it? Don't
Sure.
know if I've
Well,
got time. You sure? Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, off pat. Hold on, let me get my mic. I was going to use my vape, but I'm not. Okay, I'll use my ear solution for my gammy ear. Okay, you know the song DISCO?
disco.
Singing DISCO. That one. Do you know that one? Yes, you
I
do.
don't
You
know.
must do.
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness. Okay, so I've done a little ditty to that. Okay, you ready? Three,
Okay.
2, 1. Hold on, I'll get my hair away from the from the mic. Okay. Okay. So this is my original creation. It's the acronym of pivot,
Uh-huh.
and this is going to be featured in the well, not really because I can't sing in a book, but it's being featured in this my chapter of the co-authoring thing I'm doing, Rattled Awake, Lonnie Ray. Okay, ready? 3, 2. Singing PIVOT. Yeah. Singing PIVOT. Yeah. Singing PIVOT. Yes. Singing PIVOT. Boom. Singing P, what's your passion? Singing I, inspiration. Give me V, what are your values? Give me O, O needs give me T. E, trust. Singing PIVOT. Pivot. Singing PIVOT. Pivot. And then the second verse is give me P, what's your purpose? Give me I, set intention. Give me V, what are your values? Give me O, own it. Give me T, E. And then I'd go higher. E, I can't do it though.
I love it. I love it.
Trust, pivot. There you go. It's my little ditty to this. I just don't know, it just came to me. It's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
I, look, but it's like it's the singing and then the you get. I love it. I love it. You gotta do that. That was saying. You gotta do that together. It's like it comes with the package. It comes with the package. Get
Let's
it.
do it. We got to make this real, I swear.
Look, we need to go on tour. Look, I'll be the opening act. We'll do that. We'll do that.
I can't breathe. Stop it. I'm not telling you. Oh, okay. And breathe, Nupi, and breathe. Yes, let's do it. And we'll take Joan and Karen with us.
See, that need to be like as you were singing it, me, my creative visual mind.
Visuals. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
I was like, this need to be like a music video or something like that. And
Thank you.
letters
Right.
and kind of stuff.
Yes. Will you help me? You can
Yeah,
be the
look,
music. You can be Mr. Producer. Sorry,
look.
Russ. But you can do the producing, and then we can have some like I just know we can have people going, give me P,
Yeah,
in the background, give me
yeah,
ah.
yeah. Yeah, it's like you have a whole crowd and then they do P-I.
Exactly.
They do that.
Exactly. Oh, I can
I
just
got it.
see it.
I
Seriously. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm going all over the place. Oh, I know. Thank you so much. Brilliant to have you on. Seriously. I think I'm gonna have to have you on again. I think we've just sort of got sidetracked with music, but it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look,
Thank you for
I just
I
really
love it.
realized I didn't even get the crossroads. I had something for
But we
crossroads.
kind of did with pivots. We did, kind of.
We
We
did.
talked about pivoting, but we'll come back to that. We'll talk about crossroads on the next episode. How about that?
Gotcha. That works. That works.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Now, don't go anywhere. I will join you in the green room and
Gotcha.
I'll just very quickly wrap up.
All right.
Oh, that was brilliant. See Terrence and Russ in the green room. Okay, come on. Okay, my tummy's really aching from laughing so much. Okay. Thank you for joining me and Terrence today for this wonderful episode. You never know what you're going to get on my show. It's either singing, giddy pants, crying. We have it all. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to read all your comments and say hi. As you can probably, I always watch replay and start commenting back, and randomly I'm waving, going, hi. Thanks for joining me, and for everybody on replay, thank you for joining me too, and tuning in to see myself and Terrence just shoot the breeze and chat. And as a reminder, you can find me here every Monday at 8 o'clock GMT time, which is 12 noon Pacific daylight time. And you can get a hold of me on LinkedIn, direct message me. I have got my Calendly link pretty much everywhere on my About Me section. I don't think I've opened it up, actually. I'll be really honest. So if you do want to have a chat with me, book in, just direct message me, and we can have a chat about how we can bring the physeessence back into your life and get that glitter glowing again. Glowing, not just flowing. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all under the Glitter Practitioner. And if you can't get hold of me, just message Russ, because then he will get hold of me. It's the easiest way. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I will see you again next week. Bye.